Welcome to Endless Winter, this new series we're starting today. And this is actually a new DC event that will be spanning across the entirety of December. And this event will be going across titles like The Flash, Justice League Dark, also like the Teen Titans, also like Superman too. A lot of different characters in this, and we got the full Justice League going up against this new villain, the Frost King. Now this Frost King character, he's tied to other important characters in DC's history like Black Adam, Hippolyta, and Viking Prince. So it's actually pretty interesting, and we're gonna find out all about this and how this event begins today as we dive into Justice League Endless Winter #1. We begin in the Arctic Circle of Greenland, and we see the son of Simon Stagg. He walks in with his crew. They have this machine that is lasering into the glaciers. Now, Stagg says, Superman's fabled Fortress of Solitude, or at least all that remains of it. What other Kryptonian treasures might the Man of Steel have left behind? Now we shift and we see Ice, Catman, Rampage, and Multiplex. They're on this island, and Catman says, Cameron, if you don't mind, he has this drink, and Ice puts his hand in the drink, making it more cold, right? They're just chilling on this island. Now, Cameron says, of course, what's a Mai Tai without enough ice? Gentlemen, lady, I give you sun, sea, and some well-deserved serenity. And that's when Catman says, if I do say so, this was the best idea I had in a long time. This island is located in the Arabian Sea. Now, Catman continues to say, find an out-of-the-way island nobody cares about and take over the joint. We should have done this years ago. But that's when we see the police outside this building that these four villains are just hanging out in, right? The police shout, attention, in the penthouse. The Special Crimes Task Force has you surrounded. Foreign supervillains will not be tolerated on our soil. You will surrender immediately. Now, Catman says, oh, come on. I can't even finish my drink. Now, Cameron, aka Icicle, says, this is straight up harassment. We weren't bothering anybody. I mean, after we took over the government. Now, Multiplex, he starts taking off his jacket. He says, the cops are outnumbered. They just don't know it yet. Now, Rampage, she says, better be quick about it, Multiplex. I don't think they're going to knock. We see the police are coming in. They're trying to hit through the door. But then Multiplex, he jumps out the army of himself. He multiplies, and he says, this could have been a nice arrangement, but now you're making us be bad guys again. Now, Catman gets his suit on, and he says, I was really kind of hoping I could put away the Catman suit for a while, but oh well. Icicle says, at least you have the option. I'm Icicle all the time. Is Multiplex handling them, Rampage? Rampage looks over the ledge and says, so far, he's through them, like, wait, something's happening. And then we see Flash and John Stewart, they come in and start taking down Multiplex. John Stewart says, say again, Flash, couldn't hear you over the squealing. Now, Barry says, what I said was this time of year gets me thinking about family, about work life, balance, all that stuff. Now, John Stewart blasts Multiplex and he says to Barry, I get it, and I realize we're just here for 4 B-listers, but is right now really the best time for this chat? Now we see Rampage. She says, are you kidding me? We got Flash and Green Lantern sticking their noses into our business? That's when we see Superman and Wonder Woman, they show up, and Superman says, sorry to break it to you, Rampage, but it's not just Flash and Green Lantern. Now, Diana says, you picked the wrong island. Now we see Barry, he goes to the comms, he says, Diana, you picking me up? If you got a minute, I wanted to ask how you're balancing things, work and family. Now, Diana punches Rampage in the face. You hear a scratch. Rampage goes off the ledge, and Diana says, balancing? I was the god of war for a while, so I don't think I'm the one you should be talking to about this. Now, Superman says, Ice? Really? Now, Rampage says, lady, we're just looking to be left alone, but if you want to fight, let's get to it. She throws a car at Diana. Diana gets smashed by the car. You hear a crash. Now, Rampage says, believe me, play more where that came from. That's when Rampage is ambushed by Aquaman, and she's pretty much taken down by the squid. Now, Aquaman says, sorry I'm a little late, family stuff. And Barry says, hey Arthur, since you just brought it up, and Aquaman says, I heard what you were asking everybody, Flash. I'm here with you guys when I should be playing my honeymoon, which I suppose tells you all you need to know about how I'm balancing married life. Diana, do you want to finish up? And we see Diana, she punches Rampage into the ocean. You hear boom, and she says gladly. Now we see Catmace jumping through these buildings, and he's trying to get away. He says, can I get a break sometime? Just one? Almost the entire Justice League for us? It's every cat for himself at this point. He jumps into the alleyway, but that's when we see Batman. He comes out of the alleyway, he says, you should have surrendered to Superman when you had the chance. He's a good cop. I'm the other one. Now, that's when Barry on the comm says, Batman, I've been thinking about how to do a better job of balancing. You know what? Never mind, I'm good. But we shift to the Citadel Glacier, and the son of Simon Stagg says, with the glacier receding due to the global temperature increase, myriad new mineral opportunities are available to us, including a unique ice strain found only here. My research indicates this ice holds the key to cold fusion, offering us an unprecedented opportunity. Once we succeed, Stagg Industries will dominate with the clean energy market. And you, dear sister, and the rest of the board will reap those rewards, all thanks to me. Now, Stagg's sister says, Sebastian, stop trying to sell this as a company venture. This is about you, like always. You had no permission to access the Snowcrawler or any Stagg resources. Now, Sebastian says, I remind you, Sapphire, that until the courts rule otherwise, Father left the business to me, and I can keep the case tangled in the legal system for years, and frankly, I have the best lawyers money can buy. They got me out of prison, they got me access to company assets, despite your best efforts to lock me out. Now please stop bothering me so I can get on with changing the destiny of mankind. Now, one of Sebastian's workers say, Mr. Stagg, we got an ice seam you should definitely see. And that's when Sebastian says, cold fusion. My sister's so gullible. Who would have thought Superman would just pick up his clubhouse and move it? Let's see what you found. Alien crystal, technology left behind at crystalline environments, just waiting for the right genius to exploit it. When I unlock the Kryptonian secrets fused into the ice, Stagg Industries will be begging me for them. And so will the rest of the world. He looks closely at this crystal. Mr. Stagg, this is the crawler command deck. Weather radar is indicating a sizable event headed right toward us, impacting within the hour. Now, Sebastian says, then what are you standing around for? Get the extractors working and cut out as much of the seam as we can get. And that's when the other man says, not advisable, sir. Between the storm, the tremors we've been having, this area is not stable enough for that kind of extraction. But Sebastian says over the comms, I wasn't asking for opinions. I want that ice extracted now. They keep lasering the ice. Now we see Catman. We ship back to the island, right? And Catman's being put into this transport van. And Catman says, seriously, don't you people have anything better to do? And the police says, watch your head, ears, whatever. Now, John Stewart says to the Justice League, local authorities are going to process them, and then they'll be extradited back to the States. Aquaman says, unless there's anything else, I have a wife and baby I need to get back to. Diana says, Batman, will you care for a ride back to Gotham? It's not far out of my way. Barry says, mine's the company on the way home, and Superman responds, of course not, Flash, as long as you can keep up. And Barry says, oh, it's like that, is it? So they then run out of this island. But before we leave this island, guys, we see Catman, Icicle, Rampage, and Multiplex in this van. Catman says, even in the middle of nowhere, the Justice League is on our backs. Rampage comments, I might know a place. I've heard some things about Cagdag. And Multiplex says, really? You can tell my friend here just as soon as he lets us out. Now we shift to the Atlantic Ocean, and Barry is running with Superman. Barry says, how do you do it? How do you balance all this with having a family? How do you pull it all off so well, Clark? And Superman responds, to be honest, I don't think I'm doing it that well. And Barry says, wait, what? Do I need to point out that you're Superman? And Superman keeps running with Flash. And he says, I thought revealing my identity to the world would simplify things, but I feel like everything has only gotten more complicated. Jor-El, John being so far away, and I always worry for Lois. She's the strongest, smartest person I know, but I realize how hard all this is for her. Sometimes I just feel powerless. We're all just doing the best we can. Maybe have a chat with somebody who's got a better handle on it than me. Mudslide in Sri Lanka. I'll go take care of it. Superman runs off, but before he leaves, he says to Barry, Good talk, Barry. Let's do it again sometime. And Barry stops and says, thanks, I guess. Now we go back to the Citadel Glacier in the Arctic, and this man says, you're secure, haul away. They start lowering this package into this glacier, and that's when Sebastian Stagg says, impressive, a block that size extracted in less than 3 hours. Now the ship starts going off. The storm's not even that bad yet. Now that's when the comms come on. They say to Sebastian Stagg, Mr. Stagg requesting permission to withdraw the snow crawler before the storm and seismic disruptions causing collapse in the glacier. Stagg responds, negative. Batten down the hatches and right out. You're to resume extraction as soon as the storm passes. Stagg out. That's when we arrive in Metropolis, and Barry says, I really appreciate you letting me visit, Jefferson, especially during family time. I didn't expect Black Lightning to go for the ugly sweater look. Now, Jefferson responds, it's not supposed to be an ugly sweater. The girls got me this. And Anissa says, it's totally ugly, Dad. That's when Jefferson responds, where's the snowflake ornaments? We gotta have that. It's tradition. Now, Barry says, how do you get this so right, Jefferson? You and the girls and the job. And Jefferson responds, there's no magic formula, Barry. Like anything else, it just takes effort. There it is. You remember when we got this, Nissa? You were both so young. It was the last thing we got at the Christmas market downtown that year because your sister inhaled so much candy. She was going to barf. Now, Nissa says, she did barf in the back seat on the way home. We never told you. You were in such a rush to go, you forgot to pay for the ornaments. Now, Barry looks, and Jefferson says, I went back and paid the next day, Barry. Don't haul me in. Look, I'm not doing anything special, Barry. Just trying to be the best dad I can be. Now, Jen says, okay, turn the lights now? And Jefferson responds, of course, Jen. Barry says, well, sure looks like you're doing a pretty good job. And Jefferson, he just says, I'm not saying there aren't any challenges. I'm a single parent and a superhero, and my girls have superpowers. Well, how's it going, Jen? And Jen says, nothing's happening. The lights aren't turning on. And Jefferson says, must be his shorts. My Grammy used to tell me it's not about how many things were broken, it's how many things you can fix. He fixed the Christmas tree. And Barry says, that's beautiful. And Jefferson, with his 2 daughters at his side, says, it's what I've got. And that's when we hear in the comms, Justice League, this is Batman, emergency situation in the Arctic. Barry says to Jefferson, sorry, much as I'd love to stay, sounds like something needs to be fixed. Now we go to the Arctic and we see this snow crawler about to fall into this glacier. You hear a rumble. And that's when the people say, Mayday, Mayday, repeat, Stagg Industries Research Facility requesting immediate aid. The glacier is collapsing under us and the storm is hammering us from above. Mayday, can anyone hear us? And the girl says, is the signal even getting through? It's not like Stagg gives a damn about us. He got what he wanted and I'm picking up movement outside. And the man says, it's a total whiteout. There's nothing out there except the blizzard. Now they say, whole breach, we are shriek. And outside, they say, something's got the drum, Mayday, Mayday. But that's when they look out and they say, it's not just the blizzard. And we see these ice monsters come in. And that's when we see Barry shows up. Sorry guys, we came as fast as we could. Welcome to Ellesmere Island. By the way, stay frosty. No pun intended. I'll be back with the rest of your crew. So, Barry saved these 2 people, but they still got fight off against these ice monsters. All the Justice League arrives. Superman says, Flash, did you clear out the crawler? We need to keep that rig from topping into the crater. Barry says everyone's evacuated. Now, John keeps attacking these ice monsters and say, what are these things? Are they even sentient? And Superman punches these ice monsters in the face. No, I've scanned them at a molecular level. They've just animated ice. Diana says, so no reason to hold back. And Aquaman says, then the question becomes, who is animating them? John says, and why are they attacking? And guys, it's actually a dope image of Aquaman like he is trident and just going into this ice monster. Now what we see next is this huge ice monster shows up, but Batman puts a bomb device on it, and he says, you're a big one, and it explodes, and he says the crawler is stable for the moment, but that won't last, and we hear a whoom as the wind goes by Batman. Now Superman flies by and says, no worries, I'm on it. Batman walks away, says, you're welcome. Now, Barry keeps fighting these ice monsters and says, so is anybody going to ask why Batman gets a cool new Arctic suit? I mean, I like a cool new Arctic suit. Superman responds, let's get you back where you belong and not the bottom of a crater. He pulls his ship out of this crater, and you got cracoom, and out of it comes somebody. They don't know what it is, and Superman says, where did that come from? And John says, looks like you weathered that a lot better than the crawler. What's down there? I think we're about to find out, John. That's what Superman says as they look into this crater, and we see this hand pop out, and he says, free. Finally free, and the Frost King will have his vengeance. You see the Frost King comes out, and that's when Batman says, unexpected, and Aquaman says, Frost King? Is he not one of mine? And Diana says, nor mine. Who and what is he? And that's when Frost King says, where are they? What have they done with them? I see you there. And you see these different people like Black Adam and the Viking Prince. And that's when the Frost King says, you, Dakafar, you tricksters. And Barry says, whoa, who's the dude with the horns? And Aquaman says, the Frost King. Pay attention. Now it's when Frost King gets out, he starts going toward them. He says, arise, my ice horde, and put them to the slaughter. All these ice monsters start attacking. They surround the Justice League, and Barry says, sorry I asked. Now Batman says, tight formation. And Barry says, see, as we're completely surrounded, I don't think we have a choice. Now John Stewart gets out a blade. He constructs a green blade, which is really dope, and says, I can go medieval on these guys, but there's no end to them. Now Superman uses his laser eyes to laser into these ice monsters, and he says the storm just keeps spawning more. And Batman runs out of the way, says, I suspect this storm is the Frost King. Concentrate on him. Superman goes to attack the Frost King, and he says, we don't know who you are or what you want, but this has to end. Now Frost King says, I know your kind. I know your treachery. You will bow down to me, and you will tell me what you've done with them. Now, Superman dodges this blast from Frost King and says, you have me confused with somebody else, and I doubt you're going to like it when I introduce myself. Now, Frost King unleashes a big blast in the Justice League and says, this time, I won't be stopped. This time, the world will pay. Now, we see the frost, and all the ice clears the way. And we see the Justice League. They're saved by John Stewart. John says, everyone alright? Now Barry says, well, I'm not having any fun, if that's what you mean. Where did Frosty the supervillain go? And Diana says, vanished, along with his minions. But at the moment, I'm more concerned with where Superman is. Now we see Superman. He's outside. And Batman says, Clark? And Superman responds, I have sensed this place seemed familiar. But in the chaos of the storm and the battle, I didn't realize. This is where my Fortress of Solitude was located before it was destroyed by Rogozar. I've scanned the crater. Residue Kryptonian crystals have fused with the ice deep in the glacier. When I got close to the Frost King, I didn't understand why he was emitting a Kryptonian energy signature. Now I do. If he absorbed what I left behind, what have I unleashed onto the world? Now we see Gotham, and we see Manhattan, Washington DC, Metropolis, Cagdad, and we see all this frost just expanding across the world, and temperatures are going below zero. It's easy to get hypothermia. Now, we see all these different heroes like the Teen Titans, the Justice League Dark, we also see Black Lightning, but most importantly, we see Black Adam, and Black Adam says, after all this time, how can it be happening again? Now, we go to the 10th century in Egypt, and the Wizard of Shazam says, what you ask is dire, and I am loath to even consider it, but I already feel the coming frost. The fate of the world may well hinge upon his aid. I sealed away my champion for the good of the world. Now I free him for the good of the world. Once I utter the magic word to open his tomb, I will be gone, and he'll be your dilemma to solve. I wish you luck. And he says, Shazam! And out of this cave, we see Black Adam. And Black Adam sees Hippolyta, Swamp Thing, and the Viking Prince. Hippolyta says, 10th Adam, we have need of you. The world has need of you. Black Adam responds, well, the world's got a great deal to answer for. And Viking Prince says, Without your help, there won't be a world. And that's how I conclude Endless Winter #1. So guys, that was Justice League Endless Winter #1. And I thought it was a solid start to this event. That'll be 9 parts. And it's written by Andy Lanning and Ron Mars. Now the story itself is pretty simple. Nothing very big, alright? It's a very simple Justice League story. We got this villain, the Frost King, who was just let out by Sebastian Stagg. You know, somebody who is kind of like a villain, but not totally like a villain. Just like a evil businessman in a way. It lets out this villain. Frost King gets out, has to fight against Justice League, and yeah, we have a cool fight, but it doesn't really mean as much. Honestly, the issue got like more interesting toward the end, when we saw Black Adam, Hippolyta, Viking Prince, the Wizard Shazam. That's when I got intrigued, but that's also where the issue ended. I think that's the most interesting stuff about this whole story right now, how the Frost King connects to that, but in terms of everything else is kind of just standard. It's nothing really new, but at the same time, I don't want some universe expanding event because we already got like death metal and all these other events going on. So it's kind of a breath of fresh air, for me at least. But I wish there's some more like interesting concepts, alright? Only the ending was interesting. Everything else was kinda like I didn't really care for. Now, there is some cool scenes. I really like the beginning when we got Catman, Icicle, Multiplex, and Rampage, and they're going up against like the Justice League. Like this part is really cool, especially Batman's encounter with Catman. That's probably one of my favorite images in the book, where Batman shows up. Like, it's just drawn so well by Howard Porter, which we'll get to his artwork soon, but I just like that whole encounter. But at the same time, that encounter just felt like filler to start out the story. Like, alright, we got the Justice League fight off against these villains, and these villains may come to be something later in the storyline because they get out of like the van and stuff, which that's cool, but I don't know if they really need to be needed. Like, do these 4 villains fit into a story about Frost King and Black Adam? We'll see. Maybe the writers will surprise me in future installments, but for now, it feels kind of out of place. Now, for Barry's whole place in this, where he's trying to like establish family, try to keep a balance of his life as just a regular guy and a hero, I like that. Now, is it new? Not at all. But I like his talks with all the Justice League members, but most of all, I like his talk with Black Lightning, Jefferson Pierce. Now, seeing Jefferson Pierce with Anissa and Jennifer, that's really nice, because I really like Black Lightning. He's a great character. In my opinion, one of the best characters in the DC Universe. I love his show, and I don't know why CW is canceling it, but still, he's a great character, and he's just depicted so well here, about how, oh, he just tries to fix things. He's always trying to live a better life each day. He has his daughters, he's a single parent, and a hero. He's like the perfect example, and it really inspires Barry, and I like that. Now, that was great, and then we had a whole action sequence with like the Frost King, which was drawn very well. It was very cool, like it's very exciting and stuff, and then we got to the end, which that got intriguing, right? So overall, this first issue, in terms of like the writing standpoints, it wasn't anything new or amazing, but it's still pretty solid, and I'm intrigued for the next issue. But there's a couple things that I'm a little worried about, like those 4 villains, how they're like out of place in this. Like, I like Catman, he's a cool character, but I don't know if he could fit into this. And I hope the next few installments are just action and all these heroes like the Teen Titans and Justice Dark going against like ice monsters. I hope it's not just that. I want some interesting concepts and some backstory into like Black Adam, Viking Prince, and Hippolyta. So I feel like that's gonna be the best thing about this event. Now, the artwork by Howard Porter and colors by Hi-Fi. Hi-Fi already does a great job, guys. But the artwork by Howard Porter is great in this issue, right? I'm a big fan of Howard Porter. I liked his work in like Joshua Williams' Flash Run, and to see him here and how he draws like Batman, especially that image of Batman, that just looks amazing, guys. And how he draws his figures, how he does the action sequences, it's really good mostly throughout. My only problem is the facial expressions. I feel like the facial expressions were kind of off at times. Mostly Wonder Woman and sometimes other characters, right? And I don't think that's because it's a flaw in Howard Porter's artwork. I think it's because he's a little rushed. This is a 30-page comic, guys. And for one artist to do a 30-page comic, to get that out there in such little time, is kind of hard, alright? That's actually very hard to do. And it's cool that I did it, it's cool that Howard Porter pulled it off, and it's cool we get this comic, but at the same time, I would rather some scenes be cut out, or maybe this event be planned a little better so Howard Porter is not like rushed and he could give us like his best work instead of some rushed work. Now, rushed artwork by Howard Porter is still great artwork, but it could be better. You guys know what I'm saying? Like, it could be better if he wasn't rushed. So yeah, overall, the artwork was solid. I did like the action sequences, and that Batman image was amazing. And the final splash page of Black Adam, Hippolyta, and Viking Prince looked really cool. And yeah, that's my thoughts on this issue. Overall, I'm gonna give this first issue of this event, Endless Winter, an 8 out of 10. I think it's solid. You should check it out. But if you're low on money and you don't have time to even read this, guys, it may be better to just skip it. Because it doesn't look like it's going to be big on the DC Universe. It looks to be a smaller event, which if you like those, which I do like those, then check it out. But if you're trying to save your money and prepare for like future states or get death metal stuff, then save your money for that. Because that looks to have more like an impact in the DC Universe than this event. But yeah, guys, tell me your thoughts on this issue down below. If you liked the video, give a big thumbs up, comment below, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on my next Endless Winter video. But yeah, thanks for watching, and peace out.